today I'm going to be doing a video that's been highly requested ever since I started YouTube like 5 years ago, and I've been wanting to do this video. I just have never gotten around to doing it because I have this fear that I'm going to forget something or I'm not going to cover something that I really wanted to cover. So I wrote it all down. I feel like I have my thoughts in order and I'm ready to do this video finally after 5 years. And as you can tell from the title, it's how to pick your right foundation shade and foundation formula, but more so shade, because I feel like that's what people have the hardest time with. I still have a hard time with that sometimes. It's just something that's really difficult to do, especially in the drugstore, because in America we can't really test out the foundations first. I don't know if it's different in other countries, but it's hard. It's really hard. So I'm going to go over some tips and things like that for how to pick your right foundation shade and foundation formula, and I hope this helps you guys out. The first thing you want to do is you want to figure out if you're warm toned or if you're cool toned. Now there's a few little things that kind of go into this. However, if you still can't figure it out by the end of this video, it's totally understandable because it's not an easy thing to do. So the first thing you can do is the vein test, and this isn't my favorite way to do it because sometimes I look at my veins and sometimes they look green and sometimes they look blue and sometimes I can't tell. So this isn't my favorite way, but you can try it. So what you do is you just look at your veins and you look to see if they look more green. If they look green, then you're warm toned, and if they look blue, then you're more cool toned. I can't tell sometimes, but right now my veins look more blue. Yeah, I don't know. If you can't figure it out with your veins, this is another really simple way to do it, and this is actually how I learned in beauty school about 8 years ago, and I feel like it's a really easy way to tell, and it's kind of a fun experiment to do as well. So all you have to do is go to the store and go with no makeup on if you can, and you want to find a pink piece of paper and an orange piece of paper. So what you want to do is hold up the first piece of paper. This is the cool piece of paper. And this might make my lighting a little bit wonky, but you guys can kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. So you want to hold it up to your skin, and you want to look at your face, and you want to look at the whites of your eyes, your teeth, and your under eye circles. And if you feel like your teeth look a little bit dingy, your eyes look, you know, not very bright, not very white, and if you feel like your under eye circles are really prominent, then you're probably not a cool toned person. If you just feel drab, tired, and you look a little bit sick, that's going to make you realize that, yeah, you're not that color. Then hold up the other one, and if you feel like you look brighter, more awake, you feel like your under eye circles don't show as bad, you feel like you don't look sick, you don't look tired, you know, the whites of your teeth look really good, all that kind of stuff, then you're probably that shade. Now, I personally think I'm more of a cool toned person when I do this test. I feel like the orange kind of brings out, you know, my under eye circles. I just don't look as, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And in this way, I feel like I look a lot better. I don't know what you guys think. As you can tell, my lighting kind of goes in and out, but I feel like I'm more of a cool toned person. Now with me, I feel like I'm a little bit neutral when it comes to skin tone, and it's because I'm olive skinned, but I'm also pale. And one thing that you want to remember, this isn't always the case, but usually if you're a naturally tan person, or naturally darker skinned person, you tend to be warmer toned, and if you're a naturally pale person, you tend to be cooler toned. And I am an olive skinned pale person. And if you're an olive skinned pale person, you usually have pink undertones, so you can kind of be a neutral person. A lot of Asians that are pale tend to be on the neutral side. So definitely take in that to consideration, because if you're a tanner olive person, then you're probably more warm. So yeah, that whole thing comes into play as well. But that's kind of the basics on warm and cool toned. And the reason I'm teaching you that is because there's some foundation lines that are more cool and there's some that are more warm. And the one line that I love, if you know what undertone you are, is the L'Oreal True Match or the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. And they have the warm section, the neutral section, and the cool section. So you can just go to the store. If you're like, I'm cool toned, you can go to the cool tone section of that line, and you can kind of pick the shade that will match you the best. So that's a really great way to do it. Alright, so if you're absolutely still clueless on what you are, whether you're cool toned or warm toned, this is a really good way to figure out a good foundation shade that doesn't require warm and cool tones, which you don't necessarily need to know your undertone, but it can help. So if you're completely clueless, what you can do is you can go to Sephora or any other makeup store, Ulta, things like that. You can even go to MAC if you want. And you can go there, you can say, okay, listen, I want to find a foundation shade that matches my skin perfectly. I don't care what the coverage is, I don't care what the formula is, I just want to find a foundation that matches me perfectly. So what she'll end up doing is take you around the store, help you find a shade that will match you perfectly. Of course, you can do this yourself, and if you do it, just kind of test it here on your jawline. That's the best place to test your foundation. Don't do your arm, don't do your hand. Those will not match your face. And once you find that shade, whether it's NARS, Makeup Forever, Stila, Too Faced, whatever brand it is, you ask the lady for a sample. So you take that sample home, you go to the drugstore, and you can kind of match, you know, with the different foundations, the different brands. You can match that little sample that you know matches your skin perfectly, and you can find a really good match. So that's a really easy, kind of no-brainer way to do it. And you can also save an old bottle of foundation. Maybe you found a Revlon shade that matched you perfectly, but the formula didn't work for you. Keep that foundation, tuck it away in the back of your makeup collection, and use that foundation to help match for a new foundation formula. So just take it to the store and you can kind of do the matchup thing with that. So now we're going to talk about formula. Oily skin, dry skin, combination skin, mature skin, all that kind of thing. So if you're an oily skinned person, you want to stay away from things that say moisturizing and hydrating, things like that. That's more for the dry skinned people. You want to look for things that say oil control or oil free or matte. Matte is something that's really good, and those will be really good for your skin type. Dry skin people, you know, look for things that say hydrating and moisturizing, but stay away from things that say matte or oil control or oil free, because those will be more drying for your skin. If you're combination skin, one thing that I really recommend that you try is mineral foundation. Mineral foundation is amazing. I used to use it all the time, and it's great for all skin types. So if you have dry patches, but then like your T-zone gets oily, it's a really great foundation for pretty much anything. So definitely give that a try. So for mature skin, if you're like in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're starting to get wrinkles and things like that, make sure you stay away from luminizing foundations like the L'Oreal True Match Lumi, or things with a little bit of shimmer in them, or things to give you a glow, things like that, because shimmer tends to accentuate wrinkles, and I feel like that's the last thing that you want to do. So definitely stay away from that. Mineral foundation is also really great. Look for things that say matte. Also, another thing, super important, you guys, this is one of the most important things I can ever stress on this channel. Find a foundation with SPF if you don't have SPF in your moisturizer. I personally like SPF in my moisturizer, but as somebody that's 30, well, I'm not 30 yet, I'm 29, but as somebody that's older, I have noticed aging in my skin. Right here on my cheeks, I've noticed it really dramatically. And the #1 cause of aging is the sun, and you will age. For my 14-year-old viewers, 15, 16, 17, you will age. You are not invincible. Trust me, it happens. So try to wear foundation with SPF. It's super important, and now that I'm older, it's something that I'm going to stress a lot on my channel, because I promise you guys, you will thank me later. Alright, now for coverage. Now, coverage is one of those things where sometimes you're not going to know if it's heavy coverage or light coverage until you test it out. So I recommend going on YouTube, finding reviews, and a lot of times the gurus on YouTube will tell you if it's light coverage, medium coverage, or heavy coverage. Coverage is kind of one of those things where it's like whatever you want. You know, I feel like my skin is pretty good, but I still like heavier coverage foundations just because it's my taste. So I definitely would go on, try Makeup Alley as well. They have reviews on everything, and they tend to tell you whether it's heavy, light, or medium coverage. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope I covered everything. Like I said, I was really stressed that I was gonna, you know, miss some things, but I think I covered pretty much everything, and I hope it was helpful. So in the comments below, I would love it if you would kind of talk about what your all-time favorite foundation is, and what your skin type is, and what your undertone is. This way, you know, I feel like it can really help some people out who are just completely clueless, or they're like, okay, I have a warm undertone and I have oily skin, what foundation will work for me? If you guys leave all your recommendations below, I think that it could be really, really helpful. My skin is actually kind of normal to combination. I am a neutral undertone, and my favorite foundations are L'Oreal True Match and Revlon Color Stay, and I also love Arbonne. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this video isn't blurry. Literally, you guys, I went crazy a second ago because I got Elena to sleep and she was napping, and then I got Emery to sleep, and I was like, yes, I can film a video because I haven't uploaded in like a week and a half. So I went up here and I filmed this whole entire video. I went on my computer and it was all blurry, and I literally wanted to have a freaking freak out moment, but I didn't. And so I turned around, plugged my SIM card back in, and then sure enough, right when I did that, I heard a cry. was like, no. I'm gonna get this up for you guys hopefully today, and I will talk to you guys soon.